Tucker Carlson. Again, this is just a fascinating story because we don't really know what went down. I can tell you, as somebody who used to work at Fox, there was a lot of effort that went into protecting Tucker, protecting his show, making sure his show could rate, making sure that he was a success. And in some ways, he had carte blanche. I mean, free reign to do almost whatever he wanted to do.
I want.
Really and truly, whatever he wanted to do. In fact, so many of the things that he had said, people deemed as extraordinarily controversial or based in some conspiracy type things. And look, the other side was doing it too. I mean, how many times do we have to hear about Russia from Rachel Maddow? So it is shocking. It's stunning. It's very, very surprising that they would choose to part ways. So you got to say to yourself, what really was going on there? I mean, I can tell you, I think that there was no management, certainly no management, because management would typically try and protect their talent and maybe make sure they weren't out on the limb on certain things that were going to create a whole bunch of controversy. But I do believe that they have been through a lot of challenges as an organization. We all know that. And as a result, there was kind of a, inmates running the asylum sort of approach at times.
Insanity.
Not insanity.
And because Tucker's show was so successful, this is the business angle here, it was critical that it continued to do well, right? That's sort of all that mattered, because when people call up their cable company and they say, I want Fox, it's because they want Tucker. And so even if advertisers weren't advertising on his show, it didn't matter because Fox was getting all the cable fees, and the cable fees were what really paid the bills. But if people couldn't get Tucker, then would they really still demand for Fox News on the dial? It's a worthwhile question to ask, and brings us back to, again, as a business, why would you do this? Why would you get rid of your most important star who was bringing in more than 3 million viewers a night? And so there's a few different theories, and we can entertain them here. I don't have any inside knowledge. I don't know any more than anybody else, other than to just tell you that, I think Fox really caught him off guard. I think that was quite shocking. What we've learned is that he apparently just got the news moments before it was released on the air. So there was no sort of let's go back and forth on this. This was a done deal. We're told that it happened on Friday night, that the Murdochs made the decision with Suzanne Scott, who's now the CEO of the place, and they let him know on Monday. So he was prepping his show. He got the phone call from Suzanne, actually. Suzanne is as I said, the CEO of the company now, and was told that's it. So apparently he's hired a lawyer.
I want lawyers.
I would think they would pay him out through his contract. That's typically how it goes. I mean, when I was there and we decided to mutually part ways, they had to pay the rest of the contract because I had signed up to do a show, and they have a clause in there. It's called pay or play.
I don't like this game.
So they have the right to take you off the air for whatever reason. They don't like your haircut today. They don't like the way you smile. They can take you off the air for any reason whatsoever, just so long as they pay you. And so I suspect that's the clause that they're putting into action, unless he's being let go for cause. But that certainly has not materialized in any way. Anyway, the big kahuna was this Dominion lawsuit that was out there. Smartmatic is lurking in the wings too, because they want even more money, like $2 billion. Dominion was asking for 1.6. They settled at nearly $800 billion, which I still say was kind of a small number, only because it's Fox and they're making more than $2 billion a year. So they probably could have swung a little bit more. So if you really want to dig deep on the conspiracy stuff, and I don't know how far we should go with that, but some people are like, maybe this was part of the deal. I don't think so, only because Dominion is a for-profit company. And when you're for-profit and the lawyers are for-profit, everybody wants to make money. You're not going to trade that because it's not of any value to you. There was something else, though, going on. Meanwhile, Maria Bartiromo, wonderful, wonderful woman. I worked with her both at CNBC and then, of course, at Fox. Maria Bartiromo had a producer named Abby Grossberg. And Abby then later went over to work on Tucker Carlson's show. And Abby sued as this Dominion thing unfolded, alleging that there was a ton of discrimination, that there was a ton of sort of harassment. The environment that she was working in was highly problematic on Tucker Carlson's show. So in that discovery process, you wonder if more things came out. I mean, we know already, you've seen some of the texts that went back and forth. Tucker didn't seem to have a whole lot of faith in management, and he was complaining that Management was so bad they were going to take the whole place down because they didn't really understand where the viewer was at, et cetera, et cetera. One wonders if more stuff came out in that discovery process for this other lawsuit that might have just been enough for the Murdochs to say, okay, we really don't want this guy here anymore. Not only do we not want him, we don't want his producer, Justin Wells. So they sent both of them packing. It's honestly just shocking. And I think it's unfortunate because it didn't need to get to this. In other words, they had a guy who's super talented. I will say that for Tucker, super, super talented. He had his pulse, still has his pulse on sort of the feeling of America right now. And whether you agree with him, whether you disagree with him, he certainly had the ability to get some tune in, 3+ million viewers. So why would you not have managed him along the way so that you're not getting to a process like this? Then there are some that are saying, well, Dan Bongino's leaving too. Dan Bongino, let me just say, wonderful guy and super successful outside of Fox. Like, he didn't really need Fox. Dan Bongino is extremely entrepreneurial. He's got a great podcast. He's got a radio show. He's one of the biggest investors in Rumble. I think that Dan is thinking much more big picture. So on that one, it's probably a case of, we just couldn't come to terms. And look, these contracts, I'll just tell you, like I've had them. I've looked at doing other networks with other contracts. They're very restrictive. And if you're somebody who wants to be a free bird like me, and you want to be able to just say what you want to say, and you want to be able to converse with your audience directly, then sometimes you got to go and go do it on your own. And we have that liberty to do this, which is why I think you're going to see a whole lot more from Tucker. And I think that Tucker has tremendous opportunities ahead of him. I mean, sure, he could go join another network. I don't think they're ever going to be able to pay him the what did they say? It was $20 million he was getting at Fox.
A lot of money.
Wow. So that was real money. I don't think the other networks are going to be able to compete with that. And that's okay. Like, in this environment, why not take that chance? Why not build something of your own that's more meaningful maybe to you as an individual? But I will say this, the whole thing is just bizarre. Who are they going to put in his place? I don't know. I mean, Jesse Waters is certainly a contender, and there may be someone that we're not even thinking of yet. Dan Bongino probably would have been great if that whole thing hadn't blown up just a few days ago. I wonder if they knew when they got rid of Bongino that they were about to get rid of Tucker. Something happened.